Convenient Betrayal, Part 4. And we're going to take a look today, beloved, at the cost of betrayal in the life of ACHAN. And if we are honest with our own souls, we can look back in our own personal and human experience and recognize that by conveniently betraying God, there is a cost. Whether it is from our lives personally or we see it in the lives of others, we know that this is true and for certain that it's a fact that conveniently betraying Christ, it cost us something. In Mark chapter 14 verse 10 to 11 we read, "And Judas Iscariot, one of the 12, went unto the chief priests to betray him unto them. And when they heard it, they were glad and promised to give him money. And he sought how he might conveniently betray him." It is within our human hearts, it is within our human nature to be very self-serving, to only look out for our own selves and to only look out for our own good. But what is the cost of doing this at the expense of principle and at the expense of our obedience to God? And we're going to see this in the life of Achan. In Joshua chapter 6 verse 17 to 19 it says, "And the city shall be accursed," is speaking about Jericho, "even it and all that are therein." And so Joshua is charging the people, the children of Israel, that when we go to do battle to the city of Jericho, it is going to be accursed. And he's identifying that only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. And ye in any wise keep yourselves from the accursed thing, lest ye make yourselves accursed when ye take of the accursed thing, and make the camp of Israel accursed and trouble it. So he's charging the soldiers, beloved. He's charging the warriors, and he's drawing a line. And he's identifying that the only persons that are blessed in this city of Jericho that is accursed and about to be destroyed is Rahab and all that are in her house, because they believed God and they followed his directions. And this is where the blessings of God come in our life, when we believe him and we obey his commands and we follow his directions. And so as he's charging the children of Israel who are about to do battle, he is warning them to keep themselves from the accursed thing. Beloved, we cannot indulge and engage in accursed things and then expect ourselves, our lives, and our families to be blessed. We cannot hold communion with darkness and then expect light to come forth from our minds. We cannot hold communion with demons and then expect ourselves to be in the company of angels. It does not happen like that. And this is what Joshua is charging the children of Israel, and he's explaining to them the cost of conveniently betraying God. Because no one is watching what they do, but God knows everything that they would do. And he's warning them that if they take of the accursed thing, that not only are they cursing themselves and their lives personally, but they're also cursing the entire camp of Israel and troubling it. And it charges them in verse 19 of Joshua chapter 6, "But all the silver and gold and vessels of brass and iron are consecrated unto the Lord. They shall come into the treasury of the Lord." But notice, in chapter 7 of the book of Joshua, beginning from verse 1, "But the children of Israel committed a trespass in the accursed thing. For Achan, the son of Carmi, the son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Judah, took of the accursed thing, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against the children of Israel. And notice, the anger of the Lord was kindled against the children of Israel, not just against Achan, because we have a personal responsibility to be our brother's keeper. It would be highly disadvantageous for our own personal and spiritual progress and growth as a community of believers to watch our brother sin a sin against his own soul and against his own family and against the church and people of God, and sit idly by and not do anything. And this is why we have that wonderful quote that says, the only thing that is necessary for evil to prosper is for good men everywhere to do nothing. One of the US presidents said so, Benjamin Franklin or someone, don't recall at this point who it was, but we understand that we have a personal responsibility. We are accountable to God and we are accountable to each other. We are not existing as children, as people of God, as Christians in a vacuum. We have a responsibility that if we see our brother sin a sin, to encourage him in the path of righteousness. And so Achan took of the accursed thing, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against the children of Israel. Why? Because there are folk in Israel that knew what he did and sat silently by and allowed the camp of Israel to be troubled by his sin, which caused the death of others. And so therefore they were complicit. And Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is beside Bethaven, on the east side of Bethel, and spake unto them, saying, Go up and view the country. And the men went up and viewed Ai. And they returned to Joshua and said unto him, Let not all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and smite it. And make not all the people to labor thither, for there are but few. So they went up thither of the people about 3,000 men, and they fled before the men of Ai. And the men of Ai smote of them about 36 men, for they chased them from before the gate even unto Shebarim, and smote them in the going down, wherefore the hearts of the people melted and became as water. Beloved, you must understand that God wants you to have in your life, in your human experience, uninterrupted victory. Now, uninterrupted victory does not mean that you will not meet with discouragement. It does not mean that you will not meet with trial or tribulation. But it means that when these things come unto you, when you pass through the dark experiences, in your patience you will possess your soul, and your experience with God will grow, and that you would become an overcomer, and that you would form the habit of victory. But when we conveniently betray Christ for the accursed things of this world, for the fashions, the passions, the perverseness of this world, when we conveniently betray Christ and hide our light under a bushel or under the bed, instead of setting it upon the hilltop, when we conveniently betray Christ to curry favor with others, to fit into the crowd, to fit into the mold of society, when we exchange greatness for goodness, because God wants you to be great, but we can exchange greatness for simply being good when God created you to do great things and mighty exploits. And so when we conveniently betray Christ, as Achan did, because 36 men did not need to die, so he accepted mediocrity because of selfishness and selfish personal gain, and it caused a regression instead of progression in his spiritual experience and in the spiritual experience of the children of Israel. Beloved, when we exchange greatness for goodness, when we exchange excellence for mediocrity to fit into everybody else, else's mold or expectations of us and not God's expectations of us, we do this to the detriment of our own soul. We do this to the detriment of our own real, divine, spiritual progress. And so Joshua had to go now and search the camp of Israel to see where the sin lied. And when he did this, he came in Joshua chapter 7, reading from verse 18 to 26, to understand that it was done by Achan. And Achan's family was complicit in Achan's taking of the accursed thing. And the cost of betrayal was the death of Achan and his entire household. Read with me. Verse 21 of Joshua chapter 7, when I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonish garment, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold of 50 shekels weight, when I coveted them and took them. Then I coveted them and took them. And behold, they are hid in the earth in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it. And guess what they did? And Joshua sent messengers, and they ran unto the tent, and behold, it was hid in his tent, and the silver under it. And they took them out of the midst of the tent, and brought them unto Joshua and unto all the children of Israel, and laid them out before the Lord. And Joshua and all Israel with him took Achan the son of Zerah, and the silver, and the garment, and the wedge of gold, and his sons, and his daughters, and his oxen, and his asses, and his sheep, and his tent, and all that he had, and they brought them unto the valley of Achor. And Joshua said, Why hast thou troubled us? The Lord shall trouble thee this day. And all Israel stoned him with stones, and burned them with fire, after they had stoned them with stones. Beloved, the cost of betraying God conveniently for personal gain brings a curse upon yourself, upon your family, upon society, and upon nation. When you disturb the peace of your family, when you disturb the peace of your household for personal gain, for selfish pleasures, you bring a curse upon yourself, upon your home, upon your family. What are you doing that is disturbing your peace? Because you're conveniently betraying Christ. It has a rippling effect in your experience and in the experience of others. Sin has a result, and it always comes at a cost that is detrimental to your soul and the lives of others. How do we know this? Adam and Eve's sin, one man's disobedience, affects the experience of everyone else. But we have encouragement to know that one man's obedience saves the lives of millions. How many millions of lives can you save today? What is the impact of your life today, and what could be the impact of your life today? Do not be deceived into thinking that your life does not matter. It does. Your life matters, beloved. Your life matters to God. Your relationship matters to Christ. And you can have a profound impact, and you do, upon society and the world simply by being and choosing to be obedient to God and not conveniently betray Him. This is the Word of Life with Andre Knight.